Welcome back, casual collectors. I'm Steel Wolf,
and Spider Kid.
and today we're bringing you a review of the Droid Depot Droid 4-pack from Disney's Galaxy's Edge.
So you could pick them up, and we picked them up at Disney's Galaxy's Edge for the price of $69.99. And be aware, the magic key holders will get a discount. Now, currently, they are not available in any retailers, but that's because this is a Droid Depot exclusive. Okay, so for box detail, as you can see in the front, there is a giant warning choking hazard, so be aware of that for kids under 3 years old. As you can see in the front, we can see 4 droids, which is BB-8, R2-D2, C-3PO, and DJ Rex. And if you look in the corner right here, you can actually see Batu, which is really cool. And there is also this really cool border around here, which I think is really cool. Now, if we look in the side, all there really is just the names of the droids here. Now, if we go to the back, we can see the name Star Wars Black Series, and we can see for the droids that have their own backstories. Go ahead and pause if you want to read. And if we look to the corner, we can see Star Wars Galaxy's Edge with the price point of $69.99, made by Hasbro. Now if we go to the side again, and then to the side we can see the Droid Depot logo, and it looks like Arabesh. Now I don't really know much about this, so if anyone can't translate, put it in the comments below. Now if we look to the top, we can see again Droid Depot. Now if we look to the bottom, we can see the barcode. Now, I do really want to quickly show this. I'm pretty sure y'all guessed it by now. But it's that this can actually open, and it reveals all the figures. So I think this is really cool. You can see all the figures are here, and a little bit of more of a description for them. Now, with all that said, we need a little bit of a robot to help us explore the whole galaxy. So let's get these guys opened.
Alright, and here we have all the droids out of the package, and they are looking amazing together. Now, we're always so used to seeing 3PO and R2 together, and now with the addition of BB-8 is absolutely awesome. But then we have one that's kind of not widely seen, and that is the guy in the middle, and that is DJ Rex. So we're going to have Spider K to give you guys a brief explanation on DJ Rex once we get to him. But first, let's start off with the classic droids, and then we'll get a closer look at some of the details and follow up with articulation. Alright, let's go ahead and start with C-3PO and look at some of these details. So taking a closer look at 3PO, let's start with the head here. And right away, that looks great. I mean, look at the sculpt on the eyes there. Let's see if we can get this camera to focus there. Yeah, look at the eyes. That looks amazing. You can see those little individual slits in the eyes. Oh, that looks cool. Even the little pupils, you can see that, the holes for that. That's awesome. And I gotta say, I'm loving this gold sheen that they put to him. Man, does that look cool. Very, very nice paint apps. Gotta love that. Let's go down to the nose there, and it's just basically a little tiny slit for his nose. That looks about accurate. And then here's his mouth. That looks good. You can definitely see some of the insides of the mouth too. That's pretty neat. And we got these cool sculpted lines up here. That looks great. The indents for the eye sockets look good. Here's the shiny forehead. Here's the top of the head there. Looks like we got something that kind of holds them together there. A screw maybe. Can't really tell what that is. But then we got all these cool lined rivets on the side right here. And that follows through all the way around the head there. There's this little indent. I'm not sure if that's purposeful or if that's accurate. I'm not too sure, but that looks cool. Then we got these cool little details right here, what look like bolts. That looks pretty neat. Take a look behind the head, and there's not much other than this kind of matrix looking thing back here, but that looks neat. Very well detailed. Very nice. Got these cool sculpted lines there. Down to the neck area, that's all sculpted lines too. That looks great. And since we're back here, let's take a look at the back. This kind of backpack looking thing, that looks cool. Definitely accurate to the film. A lot of detail here on the bottom, that looks great. Here we have more detailed sculpting up here. These two bolts on the side right here, and there's one on that side too. And then take a look at this wiring back here. I love this exposed wiring. That looks so cool. Very good job on that. That's awesome. Here we got the 3PO butt. He's even got a little 3PO crack right there too. Nice sculpted lines. That looks good. Back of the thighs there, some more sculpted lines. Definitely gives it that vibe, that metallic robotic vibe, that these are all plates. So that's awesome. Here are the back of the knees, back of the calves. Here is the front of the figure, and right away, here we see these kind of like piston kind of things here on the neck, or at least bolts that support it. That looks cool. Got this kind of little hole thing there. That looks awesome. We got these 3 little dots right there, and this other indent over here. That looks cool. We got some sculpted lines for the chest there, for the pecs. We got this cool looking Havoc kind of sculpt right here. That looks pretty awesome. Definitely looks like the one I remember from seeing the film. And we got more of that exposed wiring, and it's definitely sculpted all the way in. I mean, look at that. That's so cool. Let's go back up to the shoulders here. These shoulder pads came out looking pretty good. Very awesome. Here we have the arms, and we have all these cool looking like piston like things over here. And I believe that the ones in the inner arm, they do function. So you can see they move with the character's arms. So that is absolutely awesome. Look at that. Here's the back of the arm with this kind of like piston that's laying there. Some detail right there. Some more bolts over here on the forearms. There's the bottom. That looks great. Here are the hands. That looks great. We got some black in there too. Nice detail there on the hands. And pretty much the same thing on the other side of the arm. Here we have the crotch area here. Nice sculpting there. Here are the front of the thighs. That looks cool. Here's the side of the thighs. Nice sculpt. And then check this out. This looks cool. And honestly, guys, I know I'm maybe over exaggerating this 3PO, but this is my first official 3PO. I've never had one before. We recently began to collect Black Series. I wanted to avoid the Black Series just because I feel we already have enough, but man, they suckered me in and I'm hooked. Nice job on the shin guards here, or what looked like shin guards. Very cool. And here are the feet. These look pretty interesting as well. No treads on the bottom, but we do have peg holes. So let's go ahead and cover the articulation for 3PO here. And 3PO can turn his head left, he can turn it right, and it can go all the way completely around, Exorcist style. And he does have just a tiny bit of head tilt here. And let's see, does he have the pile driver motion? And yep, he got a little bit of that Quagmire motion going on there. And 3PO can look up about that much, and you can look down, not really down at all. Nope, can't really look down, so hopefully he don't have to tie his shoes. Alright, so now moving on to the arms here. He has this kind of really awkward kind of thing going on with his arms. There is no joint here on the shoulder. He only has a slight one here that can go up about that far up, and it can come all the way down to about there. So he does have that motion. And then he does have a bicep swivel, as you can see here. And for the elbows, it's not a double elbow for sure. It's not a double elbow. However, it barely even is a single elbow. I mean, look at this. It's the range that it's going to go. That's it. But you know what, though? For 3PO, that's pretty good, because 3PO has always come off on screen as a very stiff character. I mean, even the way he walks. So having his articulation this way is honestly amazing, because it's very accurate to the way that I remember the film. So that's neat. That's a plus for me. And on the hand, it can swivel, but that is about it. There is no hinge on there. Same goes for the other arm. Now this one's a little loose for me here, but this other hand is a lot stiffer, so that's good. Back to the chest and the ab crunch. Let's just see how far he can ab crunch forward here, and he can go about that much. That's as far as he's gonna go. But he can crunch back about that much, so that's pretty good right there. Kind of gives him that pompous look, right? Now let's see if he can actually turn at the waist here. Can he? Just so slightly. Looks more like it can pivot, but not really turn. But that's as far as he can do that. And he can actually tilt as well, see? Now down to the legs here, he can kick out about that much. That's as far as he's gonna go. He can kick back, not at all. That's the gist of it right there. Can he do splits? No, he cannot. That's about as wide as you can get him right there. As for the knees, he has single jointed knees. And again, this is pretty standard for 3PO, because you want him to look stiff and be stiff, you know? He's very stiff in the movies and in the show, so that's definitely what you want out of him. Down to the shins, there is no boot swivel, but we do get ankle pivot, so that's amazing. Now his feet can go up to about that much, and they go as far flat as that. And that's going to do it for the articulation on C-3PO. Alright, and let's take a closer look at some of the details on R2 here. So let's go ahead and start with the head. And as you can see, he's looking pretty awesome. He definitely has that battle damage or weathered look to him. I think I've always preferred that look on R2 versus a clean, shiny R2. But man, this guy looks awesome. Look at all these cool little details on there. Nice paint apps, nice and clean. No peg hole up here though. And I know there was an R2 that was released by Black Series that had a peg here, and that was so that you can peg other accessories on him there. So before I move on here, another thing that Spider Kid pointed out that I completely missed was that I was telling you guys about how the other Black Series R2 came with a bunch of little accessories that you can port up here. There was a peg, right? Which we didn't see. But then Spider Kid noticed that you can actually pop these off right here. Look at that. That's where you would peg in those other additional accessories. That is so cool. And then there's one more here on this side. Boom, right there. Look at that. And if you can see, they're two different sizes. So for the different accessories that came with that other Black Series R2. So it almost seems like maybe they just gave us that particular R2 just without all the additional accessories that he would come with. But that is very cool. So in case maybe you needed a replacement, you know, you forgot, you know, you lost him, whatever the case may be. Oh, look, here's another one. Boom, 3. So he had 3 little hidden compartments on his head. So yeah, there you go. So if you still have that particular R2 or you got your hands on him, this guy definitely will work with all those accessories as well. But here's the back of R2's head. That looks cool. A lot of cool things there. Here we have his lens, his little projector thing. That looks great. Looking good. Alright, onto the front of the figure. Here we go. We got these little doors here that in the movies they'd open, but I don't think they open on him. On this particular version, it doesn't seem like it now. They don't open, but that other R2 that I mentioned, these doors do open on that particular one. And you can actually port in different accessories. Moving down on this guy's front, we got these cool looking, what look like vents, I guess they would be. More of that weathered look, and here's a door that actually looks like it opens. Let's see. Oh, here we go. It opens. That is so cool. There's like a little arm in there or something.
If I'm correct, I believe this is when he tried to hack a computer, I believe.
Oh, right. Those little things that come out of him to like help him interact with the world and hack into stuff. Oh, look at that. It actually does fold out.
Man, that is so cool.
Look at that. Now, I know we're over here freaking out about this, super excited, but again, this is our first R2. We've recently just got into collecting Black Series, so this is all new to us, folks, so bear with us here. But that is so cool. Very awesome. And yeah, it looks like this side can open too. Oh yeah, let's see. Let's see what we got.
Oh,
what do we have here? What is this? Oh, that's that. That looks like the little hacking tool. It's either the hacking tool or it's the little tool that he uses to shock people with.
It's the shock one, I believe.
Oh, that looks so cool. That's awesome. That's amazing that they added these little touches. That is so cool.
I'm the glad is that they actually added this stuff. It makes this figure a lot more outstanding.
Yeah, that's so cool. And the fact that they store in there and they can swivel in there. Oh, that's awesome. And these clothes. Oh, that is so cool. It's too bad that these ones don't open, but you know what though? The fact that these do, that's awesome. Alright, so moving farther down the body here, we got more of these cool little details. Very cool, look at that. That's awesome. Love this metallic shine that they're putting on them too. That's so cool. It looks kind of like a vent. That looks cool. This also looks like a vent. That's neat. Very, very cool stuff. Awesome. Let's check out these legs. And yeah, he knows how to use them. Very awesome. Look at that metallic sheen there. Oh, that's cool. Got this kind of a dark blue here with that silver. That looks really cool. And then we got some more of this blue down here with some more of that metallic silver. We got some more of the weathering on the foot. We got these cool looking like wires that are coming out of his foot. That's awesome. Same goes with this side here. Alright, so with all those details out of the way on R2, let's go ahead and move on to articulation. So right away, we see that R2 can move his head like he normally does. Left, right, goes all the way around, so that's awesome. His legs here can rotate a complete 360, and also the bottom of the foot can basically tilt up and down, just like that. And the bottom of the feet actually do have little rollers, so that's freaking awesome. Same goes with this side. Now, the very cool thing about this guy, and again, this might not be news to most people, but to me it is. This is very cool. You can see that when you actually rotate or turn the head, you see the bottom there? He's not taking a dump, folks, but he is actually extending his bottom little foot. Look at that. Boom. And there it is. That's so cool. And then obviously we're just going to push him back this way with those legs. And now he's in his classic, you know, maneuvering pose. That is so freaking cool, man. Ah, jeez. We're really loving this thing. This thing is awesome. Alright, so with that out of the way there, let's go ahead and bring out our third droid. And that's going to be BB-8. Now, I like BB-8. I think he's a cool looking droid. He's definitely unique. Love his personality. Very awesome. Awesome droid. Now, let's go ahead and take a closer look at some of these details. So right away, we can see that nice big old lens there, and that looks awesome. We got that other little, what looks like the projector piece where he projects the map pieces. That looks cool. Look at all those black lines that are sculpted in there, and they're painted. It's awesome. Very, very awesome. Look at the top of the head there. We have individual sculpting lines for these little plates up here. That's freaking cool. And then even the top there is sculpted. We got these cool looking antennas. We got a white shorter one, and then we got this kind of like a gunmetal gray longer one. That looks cool. And even on this little projector piece, I don't know if it's coming out on the camera very well, but there is a little bit of blue in there, so that's cool. In fact, on the lens here itself, around it, there is some detail there. What looks kind of like little maybe rivets, maybe? I'm not too sure, but oh man, that looks cool. There's the back. That looks great. Love that weathering, man. Definitely looks like BB's been through some stuff, man. Very awesome. Now down to the body, look at, we have all these like burnt marks, like he's been shot at. Oh, that's so cool. Oh, all the detail on this is just amazing. That is so cool. I love the different contrast between the paints. We got that white, we got that silver, the orange, all the weathering and scuffing looks cool. Here's the bottom. Very cool. Very, very cool little dude. Now, let's go ahead and get into some articulation with this guy, which there really isn't much other than his head. So his head does turn left and right, and it can turn completely around there, like the whole Exorcist thing. And it looks like he's on a ball peg because he can kind of rotate like this, you know, and then he does have that kind of pile driver movement or that quagmire motion, you know, so you can kind of go forward that way like this. You know, so that looks cool, but that can actually be used for like a rolling in motion kind of pose. And the way that they did it too, because it's very subtle, like you can see it now, but it literally looks like it's just kind of hovering there, you know, like it's a magnet. Kind of like the Droid Depot, the ones that you actually build, the big ones. Yeah, it's kind of like just magnetized there. That looks cool. I mean, it's not, but I mean, it kind of mimics that, you know, but that's neat. And there is some weight to him, like he's not super heavy, but I want to say that they kind of added weights inside of him so that when you do, like if I were to drop him here, once he stops bouncing around, he should kind of just roll upwards, you know? Like at least move so that he's back in that upward position. But he doesn't actually roll though, just in case you were wondering. As you can see here, look, I'm just going to kind of like tilt him a little bit. And there you go. See, he kind of just goes back to that standard position there. So very cool. Alright, and last but not least, we have DJ Rex.
So in a galaxy far, far away, a former pilot of the Speedster 3000 for Star Tours was recently reprogrammed to be a DJ in Oka's Cantina. So basically, he was the original pilot for the Star Tours ride, and his name actually wasn't DJ Rex, it used to be RX-24. As the picture you see right now, he had a different color scheme than the new one right here, but it is pretty easy to tell how different he is.
And has he actually shown up in any other like Star Wars movies, shows, or anything like that?
Yes, he has shown up once in the comics and one time in the Clone Wars series.
Well, there you go. Brief little summary on DJ Rex here. So now with that out of the way, let's get into some details here. Let's get a closer look. And I gotta say, like, I don't really know much, like I said, about this guy, but he looks pretty cool. I mean, right away, I mean, look at this face. That looks cool. I love those eyes. That looks cool, and I love that blue. It's like a, I don't know, like a turquoise kind of blue, but that looks so cool. And then we got like this mouthpiece right there. It almost looks like a microphone, like those old school microphones, but that looks really cool. And then this cool little visor kind of gives him that stylish look. He has this cool looking thing here that makes it look like he's wearing earphones, you know, just like a DJ would, you know, but I think that's pretty neat. And those got some cool, nice little details to it too. Look, you can see on the side, some sculpt there. Got this nice blue there. That looks great. You also have these cool details on the visor itself right here. It looks like he's kind of battle damaged. Either that or he's just kind of scuffed up. But then we got these cool little lines that are painted on. That's cool. See the back of the head here. There's not much to see. It's in a nice white paint. And then we got for the neck area here, we kind of have like this like swirling coils around the neck there. That's pretty neat. And then what would be his collar here, which is right there. There is some subtle sculpt there too, as you can see. But it's painted in that kind of gunmetal gray. Then we have this other part here that's painted orange with this little knob thing that's sticking out of there. Not sure what that is, but that looks cool. Then we got these little designs, which kind of looks like Arabesh right there, but I'm not sure. And then there's this other little symbols or just little buttons, but I'm not 100% sure on what they are. But they got this kind of like also like a turquoise kind of bluish color to them, so that's pretty neat. Moving farther along, we got some more scuffing here, or weathering, which looks great. On the back here, we got more of that scuffing, but now we can actually see the machine finish, which is really cool. And it does have that shine to it, which is awesome. There's more sculpting here too on the back. Look at all this. I don't know what all that is, but it looks cool. And then inside, we got some also sculpted lines in there with some more of that metallic sheen to make it look like, you know, he's been around for a while. And then he has this kind of shoulder decal, which I'm not sure what that is, what it's supposed to represent or what, but that's just neat that he has it.
It's actually the original Star Tours logo before it actually went to be Star Tours.
That's right, because the one that I'm familiar with is that triangle one. That's what I'm familiar with. So yeah, that's awesome that you knew that, because I sure as hell didn't know that. Here we have part of the front, or some more of this cool sculpting up here. And then right here we have this other kind of little machine box or something, but that looks cool. Moving farther down, again, we got more of that metallic sheen that comes through. It kind of shows it with aging or weathering. This other orange piece here, got more sculpt in there. That looks cool. Here's the back of that. And now towards his base here, he has some what look like fans almost, you know? Maybe they're ports that open up to vent out, who knows, but there's some sculpt here. This looks great. There's more weathering there. Even on the front here, it looks like a piston with some weathering. Oh, that looks cool. Here's the bottom of it, kind of like your standard UFO type of thing. Assuming this is where maybe he propels himself, like maybe there's like thrusters here, I don't know. Not sure. Now, again, I'm not familiar with this guy. Now, details on the arms themselves. I mean, look at all this. This looks cool. A little claw there with some orange paint for his cuffs. Here we have another little claw. Same thing. Some more sculpting here on the top. Got more of this orange right here. This looks cool. This just screams robot. Freaking awesome. Very, very cool. And there's DJ Rex. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Alright, so now let's go ahead and get into some articulation with DJ Rex here. Let's go ahead and first start off with the head. And he can turn his head left, he can turn it right, and he can go all the way around. And also, these little earbud things, these actually move. So you can put them back like this, you know, kind of like your cool guy look over here, you know, have them there instead of on the head. Or you can actually bring them back up and leave them just like that. So that's cool that you can actually move these around, so that's very neat. And the head can look up just very subtly, as you can see there. Just very, very subtle that you can look up. You can look down about that much. And then now, the other thing about him is that his neck actually extends. So that's really cool. Now, I do recall that when we saw this guy in the cantina, his neck did go up and down. So that's really neat that they have that for this guy. So that's cool. And he can kind of move a little bit better on the head part. You can see that he has some tilt there with the neck exposed like that. So that's cool. Let's see, does he have a pile driver motion? No, no pile driver motion, no quagmire motion there. But man, this is cool. So yeah, that's as far as it'll extend, and it'll go back in just like that. Now moving farther down for articulation, this top piece here actually rotates so that you can reposition this little top arm here. So you can move it around about that much to say, look at this side, folks, look at all that. And you can move it on this side and be like, and we also have some on this side here. So there you go. That's pretty neat that you can move that. And then it also turns. You can turn it all the way around. So I'll move it this way so it doesn't get in the way. But it does swivel at a 360 here. And it does kind of have a bicep. I guess that would be like a bicep, you know, joint there that you can actually bend in. And it can fold in or bend into about that much right there, as you can see. And then now for the arm, there actually is a forearm. Well, it's not a forearm, it's more of his hand, but his hand can swivel, as you can see. And the little claw, I believe, does open. Let's see. Can it open? Yeah, it can. Look at that. So that's cool. That's very cool that it can open like that. So a lot of cool little articulation on this guy. That's very awesome.
One thing I just realized right now is that there's this little like black piece right here. Now most people just think it's just some random button, but it actually reminds me, and I think it may be this little thing right here.
Oh yeah, there you go. But yeah, so if you're Star Wars fans, you know, you're gonna know definitely what this is. You either know or you don't know. But for those of you that don't know, stay tuned, because after we're done with DJ Rex, we're gonna go ahead and tell you what this is. So back over to DJ Rex here. Moving farther down, we have his other arm here, his second arm. And this one does the same, you know, it will rotate left and right on the body there. And also it will spin or turn a complete 360. And it also has that bicep or elbow joint there. And it moves in pretty far. I mean, look at that. So that's cool. And it will extend about that much right there. And you guessed it, he actually has another little hinge on his hand. And as you can see, you can hinge that up that far, and it can go back down about that far. And yeah, it does swivel as well, as you can see. Now the other thing too is that his little claw here on this arm does also open. So very, very cool. And now moving farther down, we have his last arm. And yes, his last arm also does move. It will spin left and it will spin right, just like the other arms. And just like the other arms, it can actually swivel here, kind of like a bicep swivel right here, and it can also bend right there at that swivel. And that's as far in as it will go right there. But you can also bend this right here. That's as far in as that one will go. And once extended, that's as far as it'll go. You can also bend it down if you wish. And it also has that swivel right there on the hand, so you can see there. Now this little claw doesn't open, it just kind of stays put, but look at that. It will hinge just like that. So very, very amazing detail and articulation on such a cool looking droid. Very cool. Now farther down, which would be his, I guess, hip area here, he swivels at the base, which would be like his feet or his legs, and that goes completely around. So that's very, very neat. And yeah, there you go. That's basically all the articulation for this guy. So you can get this guy into a lot of cool looking weird poses. I mean, this guy just looks cool. You know, I do kind of wish though that they would have gave us a little like turntable for him. I think that would have been cool, you know, kind of like a Star Wars turntable. That would have been very, very cool. But, you know, for those of you that customize stuff, you know, you guys I'm sure will come up with some stuff. But alright, and as like I mentioned, bringing this little guy back. So we picked this guy up at Galaxy's Edge. And we got him right next door to the creature shop. And so basically what this is, and again, if you guys know, you know, but in the Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope, you see that there's a scene where Jawas are basically taking in or kidnapping R2 and 3PO. Now, one of the ways that they make them, you know, bend to their will is that they zap them with some kind of ray that basically paralyzes them. But then they're able to control them. And the way that they did that was by placing this guy on the droid, which is what Spider Kid mentioned is actually visible on DJ Rex here. And that's what that is. Or at least it looks like it is. And again, this thing just looks cool. I mean, it doesn't even look like a magnet. And again, it wasn't advertised at all. It was just sitting in a bowl, and there was like a couple of these in a bowl. And so if you didn't know, you didn't know, and if you didn't ask, you didn't know either, you know. So it was kind of cool, a cool little Easter egg, I guess you can say. But he did cost $10, and you can use your magic key to get your discount. And again, just looking at the detail of this guy, it looks weathered, it looks old, it looks beat up. Very cool. I mean, you got some Arabesh here on the side, and look at all this weathering. It looks all scratched up and metallic. It looks very, very cool. It's not metal though. It's definitely made out of a plastic, but it looks very Star Warsy and very cool. And this base, as you can see, has a grip here, and there is a little bit of weathering on that grip. Here we have this little metal piece that's wrapped in this cloth. This was from a shoulder buddy, but basically, you just put this on a metal surface, and boom. Done deal. Look at that. Cool little accessory, you know, for your fridge, for your car, for whatever, even for cosplay. This is one of those things that you either know or you don't know, but I was very, very shocked and left in awe after seeing this and after it clicked that that's what it was.
Alright, and to measure up 3PO here, he stands a little bit above the 5.5 mark. And R2 stands a little bit under the 3.5 mark, and that is in his two-legged standing form. BB-8 measures up to about 2.5 inches tall, and that's counting the top of that gray antenna. And last but not least, DJ Rex stands up at about 4 inches, and that is counting the top of the headset. Alright, so for some comparisons, here we have Obi-Wan with R2 from the Droid Depot 4-pack. For another comparison, here we have 3PO R2 from the Droid 4-pack next to Padawan Anakin. Here we have Yoda from the Empire Strikes Back 2-pack with Luke Skywalker next to the Droid 4-pack BB-8. And last but not least, here we have the Empire Strikes Back Luke Skywalker 2-pack next to the Droid 4-pack DJ Rex. Alright, so final thoughts on this 4-pack here. Is it cool? Yes. Do you need it? Well, that depends. I mean, if you're asking me personally, yeah, we needed this set because we don't own any of these characters. Again, we just recently began to start collecting, the Black Series, so this is great for us. Price point, on the other hand, is a little steep in my opinion. $70, that's kind of a hefty price for droids. But when you break it down individually, it kind of adds up. So when you're looking at it, I mean, we all know that the R2 that they had released before, they had all those cool little doors and accessories, he retailed for about $22, I believe. So 3PO as a standalone figure, which I believe they're re-releasing him as an archive, I think. But he's going to also sell for 22, so that's your 40 right there, a little bit more than 40. And then if you factor in there DJ Rex being another standalone figure at another $22, you're already roughly looking at about $60 to about $65. Now, BB-8 though, that's where it's a little bit more tough to justify, only because if you had bought Rey Skywalker, or Rey Palpatine I should say, if you had bought her, she came with a BB droid. So that's where it kind of becomes an issue, because yeah, you're paying $20 for her, but you're also getting a BB-8, But I believe that the BB-8 that came with her wasn't as detailed as this one is here. So can you justify it? Well, maybe, maybe not. But then again, if you slash the price at $10 for BB-8, then it does kind of add up. So just to kind of round these guys up, again, you have 3PO at 20, DJ Rex at 20, and then you have R2 at 20. That's already 60. And then throw in BB-8 in there for $10, there's your $70 mark. So, when you look at it like that, you're not paying any more than what you normally would if you'd bought these guys separately and individually. Granted, you might pay more because we're looking at taxes, we're looking at the typical markup of 22 to 25 per Black Series, depending where you buy them from. So, when you look at it like that, it is worth the $70, especially to somebody that doesn't own any of these guys. Now, if you already have a 3PO, do you need this one? Again, that becomes a personal thing. I know that there are some differences from past releases of 3PO, so I don't know. But to me, this was a very well worth set, Definitely gave us a bunch of heavy hitters that we missed out on in the past.
So I think this is a really cool 4-pack for what you're getting. I really like how 2 of the droids are already battle damage, which I think is really cool. I like how C-3PO isn't that battle damage, but I like how they made him a lot more better from the last time he was released. And DD Rex looks a lot more cooler than the first time he was a figure. So I can't really complain that much. The paint apps are good. The actual articulation is spot on. I really do like this set.
Alright, it's that time again for our rating. And as always, you can find that rating system right here on the left. And I'm going to go ahead and give this set a rating of Legendary. Now, I don't really need to say more than what I said in the final thoughts on why it's Legendary, but come on guys, decent price when you really look at it. Especially if you're a Magic key holder, you do get your discount, you know, and 20% definitely makes it that much more tempting to pick up. However, though, also, it is exclusive to Galaxy's Edge. I believe that they used to carry it on Shop Disney, but when you look at it now, you don't see it there. You do see the other sets that they do offer. If you're a Magic key holder, try to get it in the park, because you will get a discount.
So I'm going to go ahead and give this a rating of
Legendary.
I really like how upgraded stuff are in the figure. I really like how you get 4 of these, so you basically get the old trilogy, part 1 of the new one, and even what's from the comics, and even old history from Disney itself. And I really gotta say, it's so cool.
And that's going to do it for our review on the Disneyland Galaxy's Edge Droid Depot exclusive 4-pack. I'm Steel Wolf.
And Spider Kid.
Continue collecting, and remember, stay casual.